Hello and welcome to the Philippines. We're here at JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services in Cebu City, right across from Ayala Mall. And JR has some updates on some things here year end we want to go over. So anyway, I'm going to turn it over to JR and let's talk about immigration.
Right. Hi Rod, it's been a pleasure to meet you again. How are your subscribers? Happy holidays, by the way. So Christmas is in the next few days, and we would like to we would be happy if you're actually having a good time here in the Philippines. And for those who have not come here, please do come here and experience the Christmas in the Philippines. And also, before we started, we would like to thank for those people who have subscribed to the channel of Amazing Philippines. Thank you so much. It would actually help a lot. And also, we would like also to Rod and I will also be giving you the information that will actually benefit you or will be helpful for you for your intent to stay in the Philippines and for those who have stayed here in the Philippines already. Now, we got some updates. Before the year ends, we would like to give you some tips on what are the things that you need to look into. We're going to start first on the visa and immigration. Number one, annual report. Annual report will be coming soon and will be required by the Bureau of Immigration starting on the first 60 days of the calendar year. So it should commence on the first day of January 2024 up until last day or first day of March 2024. So who are those required of that? Those foreigners who have been issued by the Bureau of Immigration of their visa will be required to do the annual report. So basically, the annual report is you need to go to the Bureau of Immigration if there should be updates, or basically they wanted to check if you are still here in the Philippines or you're still out in the Philippines. And if you happen to be outside the Philippines, you can actually come here in a later date, and then they give you a certain grace period to do your annual report for whatever you need to do outside the Philippines, or you're from your country of origin. Second, regarding the working visa, the Bureau of Immigration have made a memorandum circular has temporarily suspended for the company that is a petitioner, which is a single proprietorship, meaning it's or sole proprietorship. So they have temporarily suspended that. And that the memo was dated the memo was released and dated December 12 of 2023. So for those foreigners who actually applied their working visa, kindly take a look at your options right now. So working visa might not be available for you, but there are a lot of visa options that you can take. If you're married to a Filipino, you can still take the 13A. If you are 50 years old and above, you can still opt to explore to apply for the retirement visa, the investor's visa, and other visas that may be available for you depending on your situation or qualification per se. Another update that you need to be aware of is the resumption of the face-to-face interview. So before, during COVID, the Bureau of Immigration have temporarily suspended that to ease off with the face-to-face interaction due to COVID. But now, since COVID is already away, they have resumed the face-to-face interview on your visa application. So after you actually filed the visa application and the Bureau of Immigration accepted and evaluated that, before you can proceed for the approval, they will be conducting a face-to-face interview to validate the requirements that you have submitted and the legitimacy of your visa application, such as for the 13A and other permanent visa that will be applied in the Bureau of Immigration. So those are the immigration updates that I think Rod and I have actually discussed before doing this video that will be important to you. And if you have some questions along the way, please don't hesitate to contact Rod. Rod is there, or we will be here to help you out.
Yeah. Now the annual report. I came here. I've been here about 8 years. In the first 2 years, maybe the first 3 years, on a tourist visa. I went to immigration. I tried to do an annual report, and they said no, not required. I didn't, so if you're on a tourist visa, you don't have to do. Just
Yes.
pretty much everybody else.
Yes.
If you're 13A, if you're a work visa, SRB, more of a permanent visa, you have to do an annual report.
Yes.
And that basically is just a one form thing you fill out, right?
Yes.
Very simple to fill out, your name, address.
Correct.
That type of thing.
Yes, correct, Rod. The Bureau of Immigration is always striving to make it easier, especially, I think since last year, they have actually extended to some Robinson's malls to decongest their Bureau of Immigration offices, especially in the main office, because there's a lot of foreigners that will be issued with a visa, and it's also like very practical also, or to ease off of doing the compliance of the annual report. And then again, I totally admire the Bureau of Immigration right now, because they have been doing their best really to ease up the process itself. So that's a good thing. So they might be having a different set of requirements this year, like before you go there, you need to set an appointment, you need to fill this out. They're gearing towards being online already, and that will be a good thing for you guys to do your annual report, especially for those who are really far from the Bureau of Immigration or having some difficulties on their mobility to go to the Bureau of Immigration. Should there be any instances that you would need help, just let us know, and we'll be figuring out which will be the best option for you.
One thing I've heard from a couple people is that their ACR card, and there are various types of ACR cards. There's one for SRB, your retirement visa, for your marriage visa, for your tourist visa that you get after 60 days here, or your tourist visa. But I've had people, a friend of mine from New Zealand, he some years ago, he goes back and forth. He's got a house up north, and he went out of the country, and his ACR card, which has to be renewed every year, right? For any of these, right? He was out of the country during that period of time. He came back, and he had a lot of trouble at the airport.
Yes.
A lot of trouble, and it really upset him. And what are I see a note, ACR I-card cancellation. And what can you do if your I-card, your ACR I-card, comes due and you're out of the country, whether you're traveling to another country or back to your own country? How big of an issue is that? Can you renew their ACR card if they're out of the country, or how does that work?
Okay, for the ACRI card, the ACRI card is actually an identification of the visa, which is directly issued by the Bureau of Immigration. In equivalent to the ACRI card, there's what we call the PRE ID or the SRRV ID, which is the Retirement Visa ID. Now, the Retirement Visa ID can be done remotely. If you're outside the country, you can actually contact us, and we can actually do the paperwork for you. And once we have that, we can send it to your country. Now, the ACRI card plays a different setup. You need to be here in the Philippines for you to renew your ACRI card. Now, the important factor here is how well do you plan. Because right now, the issuance of the ACRI card might vary where you process it. If you process it in Manila, you can actually have the shorter processing time. So we need really to take a look at your schedules up until if you have a trip, and during that trip, your ACRI card will be expiring, especially for the 13A. You need to have that one settled. Anyway, we can actually tell immigration that this is my circumstance right now, I need to be there, and there are cases that they actually consider. So before you fly out, and you know pretty well that in the next 4 months, your ACRI card will be expiring, and when you come back, it's already expired. Better to deal with that proactively rather than being there taking your chances, because they might actually stamp you back automatically to ACRI card. They might actually stamp you back on tourist visa status instead of the spousal visa status.
Oh, wow.
So regarding the ACRI card, I would like to share that to you, because there are still circumstances right now that they actually bump into that problem. We actually received a client right now that, hey sir, I've been our boss is actually like doing the 9G for many consecutive years, and they have actually like renewed for quite some several times. And here comes on this renewal, there's a record that there's an uncancelled ACRI card. Now, mind you, let's go back to the principle right now. Your visa comes in three major documents: the visa implementation on your passport, the visa order, and also the ACRI card. Now, once you cancel your visa before you apply for another visa which will be applicable for you, make sure that you have stamped the cancellation on your passport in relate to that permanent visa. Make sure that you have your downgrading order, and make sure that you have a proof of cancellation of your ACRI card on that particular visa, because that might cause a problem. It caused a problem to that particular client right now, because instead of him renewing smoothly, he's been stuck. Because the Bureau of Immigration cannot move forward if that particular other visa, ACR, will not be cancelled before he will be granted to process the renewal of his other visa. So that's very important. Whatever you have done or whatever you have processed, make sure that you have the right paperwork for that, or at least you have a copy so that you can actually present that to the Bureau of Immigration. Now, the Philippines still working on improving their systems, and there might be a possibility that they are still migrating to have their system integrated between the main office and also the district offices and other sub-port offices of the Bureau of Immigration. There will be a big possibility that they might still have the differences in terms of the records up to the time being. But they are working on that, and hopefully they're gonna work it out in the next few years in the making, which will be more convenient to our foreign friends to live here in the Philippines.
Okay. And you have an office in Manila.
Yes.
So yeah, as we talked before in other videos, if you make an application in Cebu or some other city, it will take longer because that office is going to review it before
Sure.
they send it to Manila.
Sure.
But because you have an office in Manila, you can send it to Manila, and you can get many things processed much more quickly because of that.
Yes. That's correct. So we have actually streamlined our number of offices right now. So we have still our Dumaguete, we still have our Cebu, and we have our physical office in Manila. And yeah, you're correct, because there might be instances right now that you really need to fly out as fast as you can. So that is the option that we can give to our clients. Okay, instead of actually doing that in the district offices outside Manila, then we can actually process that directly to the main office, because they will accept that. Okay? Because if you are from Iloilo and you're gonna process it in Cebu district office for the Bureau of Immigration, they might actually decline to accept that application, because it's the law of jurisdiction still applies. Iloilo has a district office. That's a big office. So once you apply for the 13A, they can accept that, they can pre-evaluate it, and they will forward it to Manila for approval. However, if your address is from Iloilo and you process it in Cebu, they might decline to accept that by virtue of jurisdiction. However, if you actually submit that to Manila, they will accept that. The only thing right now that will be required, since the face-to-face interview are already have resumed, so that's the only thing that you would also consider. If you're willing to fly to Manila for the interview, then that would be good. Anyway, we have our 2 liaison officers there. We'll be assisting you. We will be assisting you during that process. So there's nothing to worry about.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen you guys. You know, I've met a lot of foreigners, a lot of expats, and many of them are my friends now. And many of them told me their experience. I did it myself. I did it. I didn't use JRC or another agency. And he said it took me a week, and I had to go back and get stuff I didn't realize I needed. And I've seen you guys process stuff, pull people out of the fire, so to speak, because the technicalities.
True.
Like I've said before, I can work on my car up to a point. I can do some carpentry work up to a point, but I would rather hire somebody that's an expert at doing it.
True.
Same thing with you guys, especially the extension isn't so difficult. But once you get into these other, the work visa and the SR, the retirement visa, the marriage visa, they're little technicalities. And I've seen you guys handhold people, take them to get their various approvals and their medical and all this type of thing. Get it done in half a day, where all that stuff's taking them a week, maybe even longer than that.
Sure.
So they're little technicalities, and like JR said, if you plan ahead, you'll understand and look at your passport, look at your ACR card, which is Alien Certificate of Registration.
Correct.
And looks like a driver's license, just a little card, plastic card. And think ahead, plan ahead, and talk to JR and his crew here, and they can help you minimize your problems going forward, I guess. And then you were talking about the main office, regional offices, like Cebu is a big office.
Yeah, it's
but
a district office.
It's not Manila. There are things that can you process everything here that you can process in Manila?
There are some processing that can be done only in Manila.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about Dumaguete? Is that now you've got regional offices?
Dumaguete is still, I think they are still on a satellite office, which is a smaller office on the Bureau of Immigration compared to Cebu. So technically, they can only process the number of applications. For the 13A, they cannot process. So or they cannot accept and pre-screen. However, Cebu District Office can accept. And also Manila, of course, because the main office is in Manila.
Yeah, and there's dozens of offices around the Philippines.
Sure.
But many of them are just what you call satellite offices.
Yes, field offices to be exact.
Field offices, okay. And you really need to go to a district office.
Yes.
I've met expats that have come from Iloilo and Dumaguete. They've come here because they couldn't process something in the Dumaguete office, for instance. All right.
Yeah, I hope that the visa and immigration updates will actually help you, and a little bit of a discussion regarding the importance of the cancellation and stuff. And going to our another complementary services, which is real estate. For those foreigners who own their condominiums, and for those who have been married to a Filipina and they own house and lot, don't forget that you will be required by the Bureau, not by the Bureau, but the Philippine government to pay your real property tax. That is a tax being levied by the Philippine government for the property owners here in the Philippines. So normally those are collected on a year-on-year basis. That will be due on the first month of every calendar year, from January to December. However, if you pay a month ahead by December, for next year, you get a small discount. And the real property tax is a tax that will be computed based on the value which is established by the assessor's office where your property is located, which city or municipality or province your property is located. So the assessor's office in your city or municipality will establish through your tax declaration of what they call the fair market value. Now, let's just say your fair market value of your property is 1 million. Now, that is not the basis of your tax computation. However, they will come up with the assessed value. Normally, a percentage of your fair market value. So roughly, let's just say per discussion purposes, that would be 20%. So 20% of the 1 million, that's 200,000. Now, that is not yet the real property tax. However, the tax can be computed between 3 to 5% based on the assessed value, not on the fair market value. So it's not that big. Don't panic.
Yeah.
It's not that big in terms of the real property tax. That is different from the capital gains tax on the acquisition or selling of a property here in the Philippines.
Yeah, I've got a friend with a studio condominium. And I asked him the other day what his property tax was for the year, and 2,000 something pesos, about $40 for the year, And in U.S., every state is different, but I mean, it can, a lot of retired people, they raise the property taxes and they lose their house.
Oh, wow.
They can no longer afford the taxes, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of retired people.
Wow.
Another reason to move to the Philippines.
And they lose their life savings.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So that would be it for those foreigners who are already here in the Philippines and they own a property. So I'm wearing my real estate hat right now. Now, for us to share also for those foreigners who have been doing business in the Philippines. So as you all know that Christmas is coming. So as part of the mandate of the Philippine Labor Code or the Labor Department, you are mandated or required to give your 13th month pay to your employees if you are registered, if your business is registered here in the Philippines. So 13th month pay is more or less an extra month of that specific pay for your employee. On top of that, you need also to factor in your compliances in terms of the business permit. And also, I would like to remind for those foreign friends of ours who are doing business here to renew your business permits. Normally, it will be done also in the first calendar year, so you need to go through again with the local municipality or city where your business is located. And also, take a look at the compliance of your rented establishment if they have fully complied with the building permit, the occupancy permit, and the FAR certificate. Because that might actually entail you additional cost to put in some fire hydrants, fire alarms, and so on and so on. If the building that you're renting right now is not actually adhering or following the fire safety standards here in the Philippines. So that is something that you need to take a look at into right now, especially if you are doing business here in the Philippines. And also, along the way, you will be filing your tax returns and so which will be required sometime April. You can actually start to collate those data from your bookkeepers or your accountants that you have hired so that you can actually start to review all the paperwork that you have done before you actually submit that to the appropriate government agency. And mind you, this is also based on experience from a foreign friend who is actually doing a business here. Up to some extent, it's good to trust. Trust is very important especially when you have dealings right now. Verbal would work up to some extent, but for you to be safeguarded properly, the verbal agreements that you have, if it would be properly documented, that would be best. Like for example, if you have your business being renewed, keep a copy. Keep a copy because that will actually safeguard you and give you assurance that, hey, you have really done and complied and submitted what the Philippine government is requiring you to do. So that will give you a peace of mind. If they have actually filed your tax returns, keep a copy, ask a copy, and they should actually give that to you. Not just that it's okay and it's that, no, you might be in not so good position by that statement per se. Up until they show, okay, here's the paperwork that you have for the business permits and so on and so forth. Keep a copy. We keep the original because we need to. And here's a copy for you. As a business owner, you should have that.
Yeah, because you have 2 lawyers on staff,
yes.
An accountant, so
yes.
you can help people with their businesses if that's required. As far as the legal end, you can help with the legal. You are a registered real estate broker and appraiser, so more and more we're getting involved in the real estate selling, and you're going to dabble in the rental side of it also. But I have guys asking me, I need a place for a month or 2 or 3. That's short term. I said, go to Booking.com
or go to Airbnb.
Airbnb, Booking.com, bunch of different places. But yeah, most of the people want 6-month lease, or a 1 6-month or a 1-year lease. 6
months is okay. Up to some extent, it would be acceptable for. There will be a property owner wanting to lease out his or her property. There are few unit owners that will accept 6 or 12 months, but they prefer to have it like at least a year lease.
Okay. All right, we covered quite a bit of territory there. Anything else you can think of?
Not as of today because it's almost Christmas season, and I'm very happy to see my friend here, Rod, and your subscribers as well. We hope that you have given you some information that might be valuable for you. And as what I have mentioned earlier, if you have some comments that you can share with other subscribers, please do comment. And Rod will be, rest assured, taking good care of you guys. He has been amazing for so many years already, and we wanted to give you information. And this is probably the last update for 2023. So
Probably. You know, and what I've seen in the 8 years I've been here too, things change.
Sure.
Things change. Forms change. I know when I was first here, I tried to do a visa extension. I had 2 sheets. There used to be 2 sheets of paper. And I came in there and they kind of growled at me. They accepted it, but they'd gone to 1 sheet.
Yes.
You know, they modified it. So yeah, you can go online and you download an old form. You don't know it's old. Say, no, we don't want this. Do it right next time.
Even in other areas, they actually slash it down to half size of a letter size bond paper. So it's good. They're trimming down, and probably they just need to make the fonts a little bit bigger because it depends on who is doing the extension.
Right.
I think that could be a good point of view that they will be taking a look at right now. So yeah, for those people who just view this video, and feel free to subscribe. When you subscribe to this channel, it's for free.
All right.
So it will not cost you something, but it will support you to the channel, and also you will be notified with the latest videos with a good friend of mine, Rod here, Amazing Philippines.
Very good. Thanks, JR.
You're welcome, Rod, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Pit Senior, by the way, in January.
Yeah.
Take care.
Sinlog's coming on fast.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.